Grace and peace to you all. God bless you. This is Pastor Pimpong, and I am here. This morning, I want to share with you something that is weighing very, very heavy upon my heart. By the grace of God, I am alive, you are alive. I want to thank God for His goodness towards us. I want to draw attention to our beloved country, Ghana, where I was born. I recently visited Ghana and had the opportunity to go and visit a place called Agbogbloshie. Now, Agbogbloshie market actually is almost like the center where you have all the food products, vis-a-vis yam, tomatoes, and all those farm produce. They all converge at that spot, and that's where most of our marketeers or our women who sell things, they come there, buy their products, sell their products over there, and those of us who also buy them to feed our family, that's where most of them go to. So you can tell that it is almost like the nerve center of the city, of the capital, Accra. But then something very foreboding. I mean, you look at the surrounding of Agbogbloshie and you really wonder how it is that, the government will allow such an unhealthy environment, a very unhealthy surrounding. In fact, the whole air over there is charged with some stench. Very, very, a stench that will want you to, excuse me to say, throw up, to regurgitate. And looking behind the Agbogbloshie, I mean, you see this stretch of waterway. You're talking about the Korle Lagoon. This very, very filthy. You have a pile of piles and piles of trash. And there are some easing themselves right there. And it makes you wonder, how can that happen? How can that happen? I was filming this when an official from the city, came to say, hey, what are you doing? And I said, well, look, I have to film this thing. This doesn't look good. Suddenly, he started to warm up to my side to see what I was talking about. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that should be the primary concern of any government that has the concern of its people at heart. I heard, and I've heard in many ranks being talked about something, a cathedral being built. And I said, look, we don't need a cathedral, not in Ghana. For what? You have all this kind of big churches, mega churches, and all over. What do we need a cathedral for? The National Cathedral? Now, listening to some of your leading ministers in the country talking about the fact that, Christians have no right to criticize that, and the fact that Muslims have their national mosque, Christians also have to have a national mosque. Who says that? Since when has Christianity, since when did Christianity start competing with Islam? No, we don't. Christianity has no competitors. We don't compete with any kind of religion. Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is life. We don't compete with any religion. So if any pastor, any bishop, any apostle, whatever the title is saying that because Muslims have theirs, Christians also have to have them, my friend, you just don't know what you are talking about. We don't need any national cathedral. We don't. If we have to have a national event that has to do with worship, look, God is not so much interested in those edifices we put up. Why do we have to waste money, resources, to put up edifices to the neglect of the people, the poor and the downtrodden, walking down the streets of Accra that I saw, scouring through the bushes looking for food that have been left so they could eat? Yes, I saw them with my eyes. I wept bitterly in my heart. On my way to Suhum, I saw one walking down the street, a lady. had not nowhere to find food to eat. So what did she do? She went to look for a garbage, a bag, took it empty to see if food would drop. Nothing came up. Fortunately, though, I had loaves of bread in my hand. I told my driver, pull over, and I gave this woman bread. She started eating it. I wept. I walked the streets of Accra. I saw with my own eyes what was going on in my country. My beloved, we don't need a cathedral. But if the president and those around him are insisting on having a cathedral, I have a suggestion. Let us build the cathedral around the Korle Lagoon, right behind Agbogbloshie. You know, it will help us achieve two major goals. One, we know that we cannot begin building without cleaning the whole of Lagoon. So that is one major project that we would have accomplished. We clean the whole of that Korle Lagoon area, prep it up, and then put that cathedral right there. And along with the cathedral, we put up other structures so that tourists will come and see. When they come, they will applaud it. Applaud the government, or applaud us for the great work that has been done, for being able to clean the whole area, transform a rather dilapidated area into something so modern. Why can't we do what Dubai has done? Dubai is a place, it's in a desert even. And yet they've been able to cut a canal. They have cut a channel where they have water in, boats, and tourists come. And most of our government leaders, most of them, you all go to Dubai to look at those places and come back and brag that you have gone. Why can't you do the same in Ghana? If we give the Korle Lagoon as a gift, if it can be transplanted and transported to Dubai, they will thank us for it, because they are going to use it. They're going to transform it to something so formidable that will attract tourists. My fellow Ghanaians, please, this is something that we have to do. Government from the president all the way down. This is my suggestion. If we insist on putting up the cathedral, if you think that is what is going to bring God to Ghana, my friend, we are telling a lie. God is already there speaking to Ghanaians, and we are so, most of us are tone deaf. Ministers have turned the Church of God into, a commercial center, extorting money from the flock of God in exchange for blessings. God doesn't sell his blessings. And we have become so bloated with material wealth to the neglect of the poor and the downtrodden. My friend, the cathedral, if we want to insist on building a cathedral, we don't drive away judges and also from those places that are already established. We spent money to build those structures. Let them be. And let us invest the money that we know, that we think we have, that we can waste. Why don't we invest it right there at the Korle Lagoon? Put the cathedral at the Korle Lagoon. Clean the Korle Lagoon, clean that side, put it over there along the side of it. Develop that area so that when tourists come, along with other things that they will love to see, they may also tour the cathedral. This is the wisdom that God wants me to share with my fellow Ghanaians. Please. Ghana is crying. I was recently in Ghana, walked the streets of Accra to Eburi, that street from Ayi Mensah, and I saw those uncompleted bridges. I saw people walking down the street, crossing dangerously for their lives. And I've been saying, when is this thing going to be taken care of? To my utter shock, it didn't take long. Just recently, I hear a truck runs into people selling, killing 25, injuring over 180. I saw with my eyes when I was walking down the streets, and I spoke that this thing is very dangerous. And that's what has happened. Ghanaians, let's wake up. Mr. Government, please, let us do something not to help our party. Politicians are busy amassing Ghana's wealth, putting it in their, machinery, put so that for the next campaign, you are taking money, storing it up for the next campaign, to the neglect of the public. Beloved, that is not what God wants us to do. This is Pastor Pimpon speaking. We need to do the right thing. Ghana first. First God, Ghana, then begin to think about yourself. But don't begin to think about your political party. Listen, This is my message, the message that the Lord wants me to share with us. Lord wants me to share with us. Ghana stands for God has a new Africa. God has a new Africa, and let us begin to transform Ghana, and let it begin at the Korle Lagoon. If you want to a cathedral, put it by the Korle Lagoon. In fact, I also suggest that we have to transfer the parliament, move the parliament as for where it is now to the banks of the Korle Lagoon. Let us move it back there. That is going to compel us, force us to develop that area, because it has been there for too long. And when we move from there, let's go to James Fort area, where we have ancient stuff. We have old things that could be tend to become a tourist center. But when you pass by that place, it's so filled with the air. It's so charged with smell, stench. How can that be in a country so beautiful, Ghana? Beloved, this is coming from Pastor Pimpong to our government, to the president, from the president all the way down to the members of parliament. We love to wear our suit, and we sit in the Parliament House speaking big English words. Some of them even I don't know if you really are able to understand. Who are you speaking to? Those English big words, to who? The common average man walking down the street is not interested in those words. Why don't you speak to them in the plain tree, Dagati, Eve, and all those? Speak to them in those languages that they understand. But we go there and we bluff, spewing out all those unnecessary words, to the neglect of our dilapidating streets, roads, potholes, and all those kind of things. My friend, it's not pleasing to God. Again, Ghana doesn't need a cathedral, but if you insist on having a cathedral, put it by the Korle Lagoon, right behind Agbogbloshie, right there, so they can all have access to it. But that is going to force our hands to clean the whole Korle Lagoon, make that place look so beautiful. And when you do that, the whole world is going to applaud. They will set their sight on Ghana and not on Rwanda. Okay? And then we'll bring tourists to Ghana. This is my small word of advice, piece of advice that I want to offer to those in leadership. Okay? And after we've done that, I want to also recommend, once every month, every one of us, every one of the leaders, please walk down the streets of Accra. Walk, take road by road, walk about 5 miles or 10 miles to see what's going on in the street. At least it will help every one of you to have empathy for the common man walking down the streets of Accra. This is my word that I've received from God to share with us. May the Lord grant that our eyes, the eyes of our understanding will be open, to give us the wisdom to know how to lead his people, even the people of Ghana. God bless. Bye-bye.